Nala is pregnant, everyone, with litter number 3. We are so excited. She's clearly excited too. Hey, girly. She just laid down here now. After consulting with a professional, she will be having a total of 6 litters. Now, this, of course, all depends on Nala and the puppy's health and well-being litter to litter. If anything should arise prior to the 6th litter to either Nala or a puppy, regardless that it's less than 6 litters of breeding, will stop. Ensuring Nala's safety and health is the top priority, as well as any puppies. If you plan to breed, please make sure to get, of course, both mom and dad checked up to date on all things vet related. Keep breeding the same dog's amount to 4 to 6 litters, and this depends, of course, on the type of dog it is, the breed, age, etc. This is also something you should consult a vet, a professional, or whoever you confine in terms of breeding in your dog. See what they recommend for that dog. Luckily for Nala, it is 6, but it also can be less than that depending on the dog, so please be aware of that. A dog, yes, can have upwards of 30 litters, but for the health and well-being of the mother and puppies, no more than 6. Again, like I said earlier, this depends on age, health, size, breed of the dog, and such. Just so you know, in case you are not aware, overbreeding can lead to an early death of the mother, eye issues, respiratory, heart, and even severe complications during delivery, which is something you really do not want to happen to the mother or the puppies. You don't want no complications. And overbreeding certainly causes this to be a huge concern. All the other little ones are up, asleep, waiting for their mommy's pregnancy journey video to stop so they could continue watching their movie. She's out solid asleep here too while I'm doing this, so I'm really sorry that she's not like more lively, but we were out earlier. If you've seen the Dogmas video, they're not long from inside. They had something to eat and now they're just resting and relaxing. So whenever she can get some rest in, I'm going to let her rest. Oh, Layla just jumped out. No, not Layla. Ariel just jumped down off the couch. Some of you may have noticed Nala had a litter earlier in the year, as skipping cycles does not benefit the uterus, whereas back-to-back breeding does. This is, of course, a personal choice of ours, and it honestly varies from breeder to breeder, but our personal decision in consulting with a vet, she should be bred every heat from the first one we started until done. So from the very first litter that we have done with Nala, we have been breeding her when it comes to her heat cycle. And so far, every heat cycle she has ended up becoming pregnant since the first time. This is, of course, a case-to-case basis depending on the dog and the previous situation. If anything arose in the previous litter or she seemed at all in stress, of course, we would have to adjust and make another decision in terms of possibly skipping the next heat. So we're not like by the book that she has to be bred every single heat. This is, of course, up to Nala, and if she wants to every single heat, and it also depends on the previous heat. We also keep in mind, did anything arise from the previous litter that we should halt and skip the next heat? Should we discontinue? All these things. Like I said, her health and well-being is, of course, on the forefront, but from consulting a professional, they've stated everything is looking good so far, and that us continuing is good on her uterus. And back-to-back breeding in our situation and circumstances with our dog is okay, and it's also good for her reproductive system. Also, in case you weren't aware, she's lying back down again. In case you weren't aware, no dog should be bred after the age of 6. So in case you weren't aware of that, over 6, dogs tend to have less chances of conceiving and a higher chance of complications with the mother or the puppies. So in case you weren't aware of that and you have an older dog that's over the age of 6, consult a vet, but it's highly recommended not to breed them over that age. I just got on this side of her just so you guys could see her better versus just seeing the top of her head. Hey, Missy, they were only seeing the top of your head. Yeah. She's, like I said, she's just very, like, chill here now. I tried getting on this side so you guys could see her belly better, but she just rolled over and she just wants to cuddle into me. It seems like that's just her go-to right now. Another thing in case you aren't aware, oh, yeah, baby girl. And another thing in case you weren't aware, there's Miss Claire. Nala's first litter, she did have 9, and in her second litter, she had 10. And this is something in case you aren't aware of, but if you see a huge significant decrease in a litter, so from your previous litters you notice a huge drop in the count of puppies, certainly cease and stop breeding, regardless that she can have so many litters and this, that, and the other thing. I do highly recommend stopping, getting an internal exam done to make sure your dog is okay, and get your dog spayed, because there is something for certain going on for your dog's litter to drop the way it did. And for the safety of your dog, it's certainly highly recommended if you see a huge drop to discontinue breeding that dog. Also, another thing, if it's your first litter and you're not sure or certain how many pups your dog is supposed to have, and you notice that, okay, why did my dog, this is their first litter and they only have 1 or 2, is that normal? And you're unsure and you've never done breeding before, or it's an accidental breeding, whatever the case may be or your situation may be, I don't know. And to each their own. I don't want to judge what other people do because that's not my place to do so. But whatever it may be, certainly contact somebody who has experience in it, or even your vet, and just ask, like, hey, how many puppies is my dog supposed to have? Because I'm just curious. They only had this amount. And if they say, okay, that's not normal, then certainly make sure your dog gets spayed as soon as they are able to, and get an internal exam done on your female dog to make sure everything is okay and on the up and up. If they say, oh yeah, that is normal, because certain, especially smaller dogs, 1 or 2 dogs, that's completely normal, that's fine, or 3 dogs, or whatever it may be. But if it's not for your type of breed of dog normal, like I said, internal exam done, notify your vet right away the situation, and get your female spayed. You're also really going to have to keep a very close eye on the health and well-being of those puppies that were born in that small litter. She's like, hi guys, I'm Nala. You doing good today, baby girl? Doing lots of resting, aren't you? So some signs and symptoms that Nala is showing right now. As some of you might know, if you've seen, and I'll put a link in the description below if you haven't, her heat cycle. I'll put that playlist down there in the description below if you want to check it out. That way you can gauge where she is roughly, because if you're not aware, 63 days is roughly when a dog will go into labor. Now, the benchmark is 58 to 68 days. That's the window, and you should really, really try to keep track from the day that they started initiating, I guess, interest in each other. Keep track of it. You can download apps as well as consult your vet when you go to get an ultrasound done. They'll be able to give you a rough gauge of the date expected for delivery. From 58 to 68 days, you want to have ready to roll, have everything you need for the mother as well as the puppies, the setup you want for the mother and the puppies. Just be prepared for them to come between 58 and 68 days from the time that they, I guess, initiated the bound chicka wow wow. Nala. No, like I was about to say, the signs and symptoms she's been really showing lately, especially where she is a lot later now in her pregnancy. She's sleeping more. Her running at high speeds has reduced. Her play has reduced. She'll chase the ball still, but not really play with the other dogs like before. Her mammary glands are becoming larger and her teats are becoming more pronounced, as you can see. And also, if you've seen the old series, but if you weren't, normally when you're ready to breed your dog and she's in heat, you can shave the underbelly to have all this clear, ready to roll for the puppies. So they're not trying to, I guess, get access to the teats with all the hair in the way. Nala cannot stand the electric razor. So what I tend to do is just before she's about to have the puppies, if you've seen those videos, I keep saying, because I forget that not everybody's seen her last pregnancy journey, just before her expected delivery date, I take the scissors and I just trim all around her teats for her and clean it all up. Hey, girly, because you do not like the electric razor at all. Say, no, I do not. She's also, as you probably can see, is becoming larger in size. You can see it in her sides. They're more outwards, and her belly is more dipped. So there's more of a drop in her belly. See if I could do one overhead, if you can really see. She's not going to get up right now, but if you've seen the other videos, you'd see the progression of Nala in terms of size, that's for sure. And I'm sorry the heater just kicked in, but Nala's been really liking being out next to the heater, especially where she's pregnant. She just really enjoys that now. I'm sorry about the noise if you hear it. Now, she isn't really all that moody, I have to say, and she isn't really all that more protective than what she normally is. That's pretty much still the same as before. Hey, baby girl. But she is certainly more clingy to me and my husband than before. Hey. She also likes to just tuck in somewhere by herself to have her naps. She's enjoying that a lot more as well. Oh, I love when they do this. Like, this melts my heart. Her nails got to be trimmed too. That's something else. Make sure you do is just before they're about to have their puppies. If your dog doesn't get stressed out with nail trims, you can do it just before. They get them done once a month, but when she's having puppies, I get them done a second time just to like a touch-up trimming. And whatever it is with Nala's nails, like, you got to cut them. The girls, for some reason, their nails don't grow as long or quick, but Nala's does a little bit. Not too bad, but she doesn't get stressed out with nail trims, so we usually do them just before her puppies are expected to be delivered as well. So that's something else that got to be done. If your dog gets stressed out, certainly do it a few weeks prior. But she was done not too long ago. But again, just before the puppies are due, I'm going to do them again. Hey, girly. Yeah. But no, this is her underbelly as of now. Like I said, everything is pretty well getting ready to roll for puppies. Down here by her back legs. We're going to end out this video here now because they're all resting, chilling out, and I'm sure they are just waiting for me to get all the housework done so I can just cuddle and spend some time with them here now. But before I go, I'm just going to let you know that the moment you find out your dog is pregnant, during delivery, after delivery, one thing you should be checking every single day, sometimes twice a day, and that is their heart rate. And if you don't have a stethoscope, this can be easily done by just checking their femoral artery. You can do that on the inner part of their left arm, or you can also do it on the mid-thigh, on the inside of the mid-thigh here. And this is something you should get used to, especially if you've never done it before. Get used to it before your dog actually goes into labor or becomes pregnant. Get to know exactly where it's to. That way, if there's ever an emergency, you're quick on the ball, ready to roll. You can just check it. Okay, you know exactly where it's to, what you got to do. You just take a timer, 15 seconds on the timer, time how many beats there are per second when it comes to your dog. Then all you do is times that by 4, and that's what you get for beats per minute. For small dogs, it should be 120 to 160 beats per minute. For Nala, where she's a larger dog, so any dogs over 30 pounds, it should be 60 to 120 beats per minute. And that's simply just because the larger the dog, the slower the heart rate. But yes, if you do plan on breeding, you're new at it, or you just realized, oh, okay, my dog is pregnant and it was an accidental and you stumbled on our video, the one thing I highly do recommend, if you get to the end of the video and you listen to this part, check their heart rate daily. Because if it's abnormal at all, it could be complications with the mother or one of the puppies, and you should seek vet attention right away. But again, like I said, it's just the artery. I always go, you can check up there, but I always go for the inner leg. I just find all the dogs are more comfortable and more relaxed when I check the inner thigh for the artery versus up by the arm. You also want to make sure your dog is well rested. They aren't just in from running around, going crazy, anything like that. Make sure they're good, calm, and rested before you do check their heart rate. And you don't have to check your dog's heart rate just when they are pregnant or in labor or anything like that. This is something you should get down and learn how to do. In case there's ever an emergency, you're able to check yourself, your dog's heart rate, to see if at all they are in distress or anything like that. We're gonna see you guys now tomorrow for another video. I'm gonna let them go. I'm gonna put their movie on. I got some housework to get done, as well. I gotta get my supper. I get to edit the other video, Dogma's video, get that up, and possibly edit these two to get them ready to roll for tomorrow. Oh, hey girly. Yeah, I got some business stuff to get done. They want cuddles and time spent. Yes, don't you guys? Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye now.